So we were pleased to be approaching the port of Ushuaia, but wondered what this day would bring as all the cruise line excursions were extremely expensive for this port, and we wondered what we could realistically experience without incurring large costs. But the previous day's port talk from the cruise director had given us both hope and ideas.
Ushuaia is officially the end of the world, the southernmost city in the entire world, and the gateway to Antarctica.
Set deep within the Beagle Channel, sailing into Ushuaia is visually stunning, and we couldn't resist bombing up to the top deck to soak up the early morning view as we sailed down the channel, and it was just breathtaking. Wow.
But we needed breakfast, and today we chose to eat our breakfast in the main dining room. Eggs Benedict and a tasty omelette were a fine start to our day. After breakfast, we went back up on deck to take in the incredible vistas and wildlife that were all around us.
Well, we've had a really rocky night coming down south to. We're heading to Ushuaia. It's fair to say the seas were fairly rough last night. We certainly tossed and turned a bit in the night with the swell, but we're now in the Beagle Channel, which is absolutely stunning. It's like a large,
Gorgeous, isn't it?
inlet that you can go between the Atlantic and the Pacific, obviously discovered by the Beagle expedition, Robert Fitzroy and Charles Darwin, of course. But the scenery is amazing.
It's jaw-dropping, isn't it?
It is absolutely jaw-dropping. We're heading to Ushuaia. We've got no excursions booked. We're just going to turn up at the cruise terminal and
Hope for the best.
Hope for the best. See what there is to do. No ideas.
We had a little chat last night. The cruise director told us a few things to look out for and nice things to do. It looked quite interesting, didn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll find something that will be nice to do.
But it's 1 week since we left the UK, and we finally found the weather that we left at home.
Actually, you say that. Look, the sun's coming out.
It is, but it's chilly. It's chilly.
It's chilly, yeah, very windy and everything. But you know, what do you expect?
Stay tuned and see what we get up to at Ushuaia.
Yay!
This was such a gorgeous setting with the mountains of Tierra del Fuego all around us, but boy was it windy, and many of the ship's decks were also closed to passengers.
We finally docked in Ushuaia and were eager to get ashore. We had not booked any expensive excursions and thought we'd see what was ashore before deciding which adventure suited us.
Heading ashore, you're greeted by a horde of taxi drivers all offering tours of Tierra del Fuego, and there are also various tour booths on the quayside. Coach trips are offered, boat trips also, but like the rest of Argentina, these are fairly expensive, with boat trips costing between $150 and $400 per person.
We walked to the end of the world sign for that photo opportunity. Tick! Right, what next? Trying to manage our budget, we made the decision to take an Uber to Martial Glacier Park, and this cost 7,000 pesos, about £6 to £7. The ride was about 15 minutes up a winding mountain road, and entrance to the park was 10,000 pesos per person, about £8 per person.
Well, here we are at the Martial Glacier in Ushuaia, north of Ushuaia. Getting off the ship was a bit chaotic, and when we got onto the quayside, we had to kind of run the gauntlet with all the taxi drivers and everything that's there. There are a load of kiosks offering sort of excursions and trips and everything else like that. We weren't really sure what to do really, but an Uber to the Martial Glacier Park was only sort of 7,000 pesos, $7-ish. Good value. It took about 20 minutes, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
And we've just arrived here. To get into here, we've had to pay 10,000 pesos, was it?
It was, yeah.
10,000 pesos each. So we're here for a walk in the countryside, and we have some incredible views.
It's more like a hike, not a walk.
Yeah, it's more like a, yeah, well, we're walking up into the mountains,
Yeah.
and it's stunning.
That's amazing. Turn it around, Si. Turn it around.
Okay, look what's up there.
Around.
Oh, wow. That's where we're headed.
Beautiful.
Absolutely stunning. All right, well, we'll video on our way up. There's a couple of viewpoints apparently, and there's a lovely running stream right to our side here. Absolutely stunning.
Gorgeous.
And we'll give you some account of our adventures in Martial Glacier Park.
Entering the park, there are 5 colour-coded walking trails, all heading up steep trails up the mountainside, and it's hard to stress just how beautiful a setting we had found ourselves in. And initially, following up babbling mountain stream, the trails crossed numerous wooden bridges as we gently climbed upwards into the mountains, and the wonder of this place just impressed us more and more and totally blew us away. And it provided opportunities to see wildlife too.
The incline slowly got steeper and steeper until we seemed to break out into an open area, which in wintertime is used as a ski slope, but looking up at the mountains provided the most spectacular views.
The incredible vista of the mountain and the remains of the glacier just open out in front of you, and it is just wow, what a beautiful place this is.
Wow, look at this, it's amazing!
All trails follow the same route to the first and main viewpoint, but the glacier has sadly now retreated all the way back to the tops of the mountains. But the glacier meltwater still flows steadily down the mountainside and was crystal clear and rather inviting.
Hi Si, are you going to feel that water, see how cold it is?
It's really good, doesn't it?
It does. Really clear, look.
Oh my God, bloody freezing.
We continued climbing and could see the weather closing in over the mountain tops. We soon came to a set of steps which were a bit of a scramble.
Going up the steps. It is looking absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to get to the top. We reached a point where we needed to make a decision on what route we'd follow.
2 routes. That looks like the blue and the red up onto the glacier. And this way looks like the orange, which is hopefully to the viewpoint.
So we were advised to follow the orange trail towards the viewpoint across the city, and this was a path across a rocky escarpment towards the adjacent glacial valley, and it looked a long way down. You can just see Simon disappearing there, going over the summit. Oh no, look, Simon's disappearing right up there over the top. I better get a wiggle on.
Here we are, one viewpoint back towards Ushuaia. Amazing.
Then my crazy husband scrambled even further until we met a sign that told us not to go any further, and here we found even more stunning views.
But it was worth it, don't you think?
The views were certainly spectacular, I'll give you that.
Well, look, here we are. We've made it as far as we're going to go. At any rate, we're on the Martial Glacier walk. It's taken us about 2 hours from the ship to get to this point. Look at that view across the city there.
Absolutely amazing.
And the views on the way up are, well, just wow, spellbinding.
It was, yeah. I had to overcome my vertigo a little bit over this top bit because it was very, very, very steep.
You did really well with that. Really well with that. Well done, you. But I mean, yeah, an incredible walk, incredible place. Hasn't broken the bank like a lot of the tours would have done. And it's a very us day, isn't it?
It was, yeah. Definitely Cooks Explore.
Very, very, very good. Would recommend. It's a bit of an arduous climb, but very, very well worth it. So we followed the orange trail, and it's taken us about an hour and a half's walk to get to this point. Luckily, it's downhill on the way back down.
So and a nice little coffee shop down the bottom, apparently.
Coffee shop at the bottom, so looking forward to that. All right, we'll give you an update when we get to the bottom, hopefully with some reviews of coffee and cake.
We'd really enjoyed this walk up Martial Glacier, and then we headed back down, but thankfully the walk down was less arduous, and we again enjoyed all the amazing views as we descended.
We'd really enjoyed this walk in the mountains of Argentina, but we were beginning to miss home just a little. And a nice cup of tea and a slice of cake was just what we needed at this moment.
As luck should have it, at the entrance to Martial Glacier Park is a cosy tea room, and this could have been somewhere in the Cotswolds, to be honest, with its selection of fine tea blends and homemade cakes. With the waitress also speaking great English, we did for a moment have to pinch ourselves.
What have you got, Si?
I've got Earl Grey tea with blue flowers. It's a special blend. They give me a teapot, a tea strainer. So they give me the tea leaves. I've got tea leaves in the tea strainer here. Bang that in there. Better give it a little bit of a stir. If you're British. Do that. Give it a stir. Okay, put the lid on that. I guess we do that like that. Turn it over. Just the timer. 5 minutes.
Right, hot chocolate, and red velvet cookie, and berries cheesecake. Yum yum. Here we go. Taste test.
Earl Grey with blue flowers. Here we go. Taste test. Here we go. Oh, that's lovely. Really subtle, but definitely flowery, sort of fragrant aromas with a sort of a subtle, gentle taste. Really good.
How many out of 5?
Oh god, that's straight 5.
Ooh!
And that Earl Grey tea with the lavender was divine, and the cakes and cookies were amazing.
Grabbing a taxi back into town, we then set about exploring Ushuaia's main high street and central district. This compact city centre was filled with shops and traders, catering for visitors and locals alike. It was very pleasant to just wander and explore. Souvenirs bought? Tick. Dollars changed for pesos? Tick. Hello. Hello.
You can't take him home.
That dog.
There were a fair few dogs roaming or sleeping on the streets, to be honest, but at least there are these feeding stations around the city for the dogs. A nice touch, and the local community really must be dog lovers.
Okay, now let's explore the seafront area. And of course, there's a big cruise port sign. Has to be done.
Then a moving memorial to those who sadly lost their lives in the Falklands War. It was good to stop here for a short while and reflect.
Moving back towards the city centre, we noticed some interesting birds on the shore too.
And then we found the supposedly most Instagrammable point of the city centre, and it's a shipwreck.
Okay, time to find a bar, and this colourful place has a long history too. Pose outside the plaque then, Si, and now go inside and get around in.
We found a nice little table in the corner and tucked in. Is the beer any good then, Nettie?
Right, this is a new feature. This is going to be beer reviews. Right, we've been trying, I can't pronounce it. I think it's Quilmes, I think. Quilmes.
It's a stout.
And we've both had the Quilmes lager, and now I'm trying the Quilmes stout. Let's try it. OMG, that is amazing. It's just like a sweet stout, like a Mackeson's. It's absolutely delicious. Wow, I'm so good. I'm so glad that I tried this. Out of 5, I will give it definite 5. You enjoyed your day, Si?
We've had a brilliant day here in Ushuaia. What a place! And that Martial Glacier and the walk up there, just outstanding. But as always, every good Cook's Explore adventure ends in a bar. And we found this great bar, Bar Ideal, I think it's called. And it's rather good. And the local beer is very, very drinkable. So cheers.
This bar was a real gem and the beer was excellent. And time flew by whilst we reflected on our awesome day in Ushuaia.
Then back aboard Norwegian Star, and after 30,000 steps walked, we were about finished for the day. But you've enjoyed your day in Ushuaia, haven't you guys?
So we are back on board Norwegian Star and we've just stuffed our faces in the buffet, much needed. And tonight, well, the sun's setting really late. The sun doesn't set till well after 10 o'clock tonight because we're that far south and it's summertime. So we're going to stay up and watch the sail away if we can and enjoy some more of the amazing scenery here at Ushuaia. And we sail out and we go out past Cape Horn and then we're crossing the Drake Passage, the dreaded Drake Passage, supposedly the roughest seas in the world. But will we get Drake Lake or will we get Drake Shape? We've had a look at the shipping forecast and it could be a bit iffy. So we'll see. There is a little bit of a gap between the storms and hoping the captain will make his way through the gap and dash us through, keeping us on calm seas. But stay with us and find out how we get on.
The sunset was absolutely beautiful, but an incident on board the ship prevented the ship sailing away until nearly midnight, and by that time we were fast asleep.
For some reason we woke up at 3 a.m. Outside our cabin was an island with a lighthouse and we thought this might be Cape Horn. It wasn't though, although we were fairly close. So how would the Drake Passage treat us as we sailed through the next 36 hours? And that's all we could think about as we tried to break through the repeated cycles of broken sleep as the ship rolled with the waves.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this, why not subscribe to our channel? Thank you.